To 401k balances. No number you see is actually real until the day your name is called or you make a withdrawal. And sometimes all it takes for either value to plummet is someone talking nonsense, either publicly or privately with the real decision makers. And that's a lesson that just about every draft prospect learned this week, but especially Shedeur Sanders, a projected first-round pick who for some unclear reason fell all the way to the 5th round, where the Browns finally selected the Colorado standout with the 144th overall pick.
Shedeur Sanders, to me, when you talk about the locker room and the players around him, they love him. Now, the perception from others outside, based on what there's the noise, maybe they didn't like what they heard. I don't know how it was handled. You get all the word about this, that, you think, well, they're just trying to hurt Shedeur. Teams are throwing it out there. You don't know what was true, what wasn't. How Deion's going to operate. Deion's going to stay out of it. He's not going to be calling or threatening any coaches or saying, or there'll be a threat that Deion could take over. Deion's not happy. Deion's not going to say anything. Deion's going to coach Colorado. So a lot of this stuff, I think, just made no sense to me, kind of the negativity you heard over the last couple months.
This is not about can you play the position. This is about do we want you to play the position for us. That's what this came
Why wouldn't they,
about.
Lou?
Well, look, that's a whole nother discussion that we've had in many different ways for weeks
I would say
and
that
months now.
This is not one of the toughest quarterbacks you've ever
But Mel, this isn't about this isn't about quarterback traits and quarterback characteristics, personal football character. That's not about this. This is personal.
Has he had an off the field issue? No, he has not.
Mel, you don't have to sell it to me.
No, I don't know what we're talking about here.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. But you know what? Mel, the draft has spoken.
This was the result.
Yeah.
Now he has an opportunity to answer it. I think yelling at the NFL about it is not.
There's not a quarterback. Boomer Esiason was not happy when he was a second-round pick. Tom Brady was not happy. They dropped. How'd they turn out?
And you know what?
Nobody's arguing that can happen.
The NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Clueless. They have no idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many
times they say we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterback? They don't.
All of that leads us to this. It is back. It's the point after.
Draft edition.
Fine, fair enough. The Sanders situation is a bad look for the NFL. For one player to go from being in the conversation for the #1 pick in the draft to the 5th round, who's pulling those strings and why? Somebody needs to start talking, because otherwise it looks like at best you're hating on the Sanders family, or you can't deal with their personalities. And yes, that is actually the best case scenario. And while we're talking, who coughed up that phone number?
I don't know Shedeur Sanders. Hell, I've never even met Deion. But I learned quite a bit about the character of this year's 144th pick by how he responded to all the nonsense he endured the last 3 days. And him busting out some celebratory dance moves with his brother Shiloh after finally getting drafted was the perfect example. In the wake of the hate, the slander, and the innuendo, Shedeur remained positive and grateful. I don't know about you, but that's the exact type of character I would want in my team's locker room, regardless of whether he's going to be a Pro Bowler one day or not. And now that all the picks have been made, can we all just take a second to remind ourselves that none of us, nobody, has any real idea how good any of these draftees are actually going to be?
None!
Look, I know we like to eat up the draft like it's free Girl Scout cookies, but everybody's just guessing. And even some of the best guessed can't-miss prospects, Ryan Leaf, Tony Mandarich, missed, like badly. And let's not forget, the players don't draft themselves. It's the teams that put undue expectations on some of them by drafting them way above their talent and skill set. But again, teams are really just guessing too.
I don't have to guess at this. Who is the bestest girl in the whole wide world? That's Tyler Shuck's puppy, Murphy, a.k.a. Murph, because she's named after the Interstellar movie character. Anyway, she heard dad was getting drafted, and she instantly thought, treat upgrade! Am I getting a pool now? She was later seen wearing a Saints bandana, and Shuck is now my favorite player because Goldens are the best. And you know what I absolutely don't know?
What?
I do not know fashion, but we are still going to fit check.
Really?
No,
you
not
dress
like.
so well.
But that's a lot of sarcasm from that one. Because my 8-year-old, you know Blake, she asked me for a pair of Crocs for Christmas, and I basically told her, over my dead body. Yet here lies Ashton Genty,
No.
bedazzled Crocs.
No.
He said he was trying to be comfortable and yet still look fly. Perhaps that's why they weren't even in sport mode.
That's not.
This hurts my soul.
The fit was nice, but the shoes are trash.
The shoes are awful.
All right, so let's go to my man, Georgia defensive back Malachi Starks. He went number 27 overall to the Ravens. So we're going monochromatic, and what color did you call this?
Blush.
Blush. Okay, that's cool. But the problem is, my man, your pants should not be so tight that I can tell what car you drive and read the text messages on your phone.
Also, do you not have somebody to hold that for you?
I mean, at this point, you got to have some help somewhere. The color, I'm down with.
I'm fine with it.
I wish I could get that color for the Kentucky Derby next weekend.
Oh, now you're talking some.
That would be fly. That's a Derby fit.
We'll get back to that in
Maybe I'll make a fit check.
The Browns traded up to select him. All these anonymous reports are coming out about Shedeur having bad interviews, especially with the Giants. According to Todd McShay, Shedeur completely bombed his interview with the Giants. He didn't have a great interview with head coach Brian Daboll. The preparation wasn't there for an install package. Daboll called him out, and Sanders didn't like it. Daboll has gone 8-26 over the past two seasons, so he probably knows a thing or two about being unprepared. To be honest with you, I mean, you go 8-26, you go 8-26, being unprepared. You will know an unprepared person when you see one. Considering over the last 2 years, that's kind of exactly what you've been. And then there's been reports of him having a big entourage because his brother shoots videos of him being in the family. He's with his brother and his family. No drinking, no drugs, no controversy, just living his life. Ocho, I'm going to start with you first.
Yeah.
Hear that he didn't do well in the interview.
Yeah.
He didn't hit it off with Coach Daboll, and seemed like he was unprepared. Didn't like the entourage. Okay, go ahead.
Right. I don't believe it, huh? I don't believe it because every single NFL player, when I say every single, I mean every single, has an entourage. Most of the entourages is family and friends. If it's not family and friends, it's friends that you grew up with.
Right.
Everybody has that. So I'm not sure why that even came into play. And we talk about everybody, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, it doesn't matter. So that's one thing. Interview goes bad. Unprepared. Now I'm thinking about a son of one of the greatest players of all time who's always been prepared and coached and having tutelage from one of the best of all time. And for some reason, all of a sudden, he wasn't prepared for an interview when it comes to the game of football in which he's a quarterback. Again, that's something else that's not believable. Now, you know, media can screw things and report things that obviously aren't true. Bingo. Forget that. So he drops to the Cleveland Browns. Round 5, pick 144? What was it, 145?
144.
I'm not even tripping at this point. I'm not even tripping at this point because Prime obviously has prepared Shedeur for any and everything, dealing with media, dealing with those that doubt you. So I'm just happy he has this opportunity because what's happening in this scenario, in this situation, in which I still believe is collusion. I'm not talking about race. I'm not talking about race at all. I'm just saying a collective collusion against Brother Sanders and all the things and just the hype. And listen, the machine, again, I said it last night. We have choices. People choose what they want to see. I said it yesterday. I'm not talking about race at all. One thing for sure, the machine is undefeated and will always remain undefeated. Anytime it feels not really threatened, but there's another